Xander, I know you've also been surveying people just about going back to school and mask usage in this pandemic time. What have you found? Has there been a shift in attitudes over the last several months, or are people standing pretty steady?
I know you've been talking about going back to school on Twitter as well, Becky, and I love the vigor you bring to the fight. This is definitely a highly politicized and charged issue. We know it's important to working Americans of kids getting back to school, and we're just a few weeks away from a likely start date. 68% of Americans say they take a mask out of the house whenever they go shopping, walking, exercising, you name it. But the numbers don't tell that story. 48% of Republicans do, while full 87% of Democrats do. So somehow the mask has become the most politicized and charged symbol in America today. If you go into any given community in America, it matters less how bad of a breakout there is of COVID-19 in terms of how many people are wearing masks. It matters what the representative Democrat versus Republican sample is in that community. So we know that teachers, for example, are more concerned than the average worker in America about going back to school. They view this much more as a health crisis than an economic crisis. And our teachers and administrators obviously are at the heart of our ability to get back to school safely.
What do you find when you ask people about going back to school? I know that people want their kids going back to school. How does that break down with being concerned about whether they'll be safe when they're there or whether they bring something home?
I think, like you, we're all doing the research and wondering who is responsible for telling us it's safe for our kids to go back to school. So we listen to the doctors and CDC and immunologists, and there's obviously a lot less likelihood of kids passing it to each other or to adults. But as of now, there doesn't seem to be a nationwide plan for getting our kids back to school. It's being fought at the state level, at the local level, and I think every parent at this time is kind of reading the update from their school district. But the budgets are not there for 6-foot spacing and for the kind of cleanliness that we're all advocating out in the working world. So there seems to be a lot more budget put into how do we return to our offices safely and all the nuance associated with that than there is of how do we get our first graders and fifth graders back in the classroom.